Hi, welcome to Resilient Friends. Today we're going to be reading Ruby's Wish by Shirin Yim Bridges, illustrated by Sophie Blackall. Oh, hi, Evan. If you walk down a certain road in a certain city in China, past the pet market with its yellow and green rice birds hopping in their bamboo cages, and the goldfish and the terrapins in their bowls, you will come to a block of houses, five houses wide and 7 houses deep. Many families live here now, and the buildings are brown with edge of dirt. But if you look closely, you'll see that once upon a time, this was all one house. The house was built by an old man who returned from the Gold Mountain. That was what the Chinese called California, where many men left to join the gold rush. There are a few that came back again. But as I said, this man did come back. And he came back very rich. And he did what a rich man did in old China. He married many wives. His wives have many sons. These sons also have many wives. So, at one time, the house was filled with shrieks and laughter of 100 children. Amongst these children was a little girl that everyone called Ruby, because she loved the color red. In China, red is the color of celebration. On New Year's Day, children received red envelopes full of good luck money. Brides wore red on their wedding days, but Ruby insisted wearing red every day, even when her mother made her wear somber colors like other cousins. Ruby would tie up her jet black hair with red ribbons. Because he had so many grandchildren. Ruby's father hired a teacher to come to the house. Any grandchild who wanted to learn could join the classes. This was unusual in China in those days, when most girls never taught to read or write. Whenever the weather was fine, classes were held in the garden. The windows of Ruby's grandfather's office opened into the garden. Often he would rise from his desk to gaze at the windows at his grandchildren. One day, Ruby's grandfather looked down from his window to see the high white wall on the garden pastured with calorelli. His grandchildren had been practicing their handwriting. Ruby's grandfather laughed to see how many smudged ink on their hands and faces. Then he noticed a sheet that was more beautiful than the rest, which of his grandchildren had produced such wonderful calorelli. Down in the garden, the teacher was praising Ruby. Her ears were turning as bright red as her jacket. But if Ruby was doing as well as her boy cousins in her studies, she had to work much harder. When the boys had finished their studies for the day, they were free to play, but the girls had to learn about cooking and keeping house. In fact, as far as their mothers are concerned, these are the only things girls had to learn. One by one, the girls stopped going to classes, all except Ruby. She would catch up on her work at night. Many nights her candle flickered along. Everyone else had gone to bed. One day, the children were asked to write a poem. Ruby wrote, "Alas, bad luck to be born a girl. Worse luck to be born in a house where only boys are cared for." Ruby's teacher was very impressed by the poem. He also showed it to Ruby's grandfather. Ruby's grandfather also was impressed, but he was worried about what the poem said. Don't worry, that was my cat, Sydney. Ruby's grandfather was also impressed, but he worried about what the poem said. He summoned Ruby to his office. Ruby found her grandfather sitting in his chair, her poem spread upon his desk. "Did you write this poem?" asked Ruby's grandfather. "Yes, I did, grandfather," answered Ruby. "Do you really think that in this house we only care for boys?" "Oh, no, grandfather," said Ruby, very sorry that she had upset him. "You take good care of all of us." "And for that we are grateful. Little Ruby," her grandfather said gently, "I would really like to know why you wrote this poem. How are boys better looked after?" "Well," said Ruby, trying to think of a small and important thing, "when it is Moon Festival, we are each given half a moon cake. The boys always get half with the yellow moon yolk." Said her grandfather, as if he was still waiting. "Is that so?" "Yes," continued Ruby. "And when it is a lantern festival, the girls are was given the simple paper lanterns. But the boys have red lanterns of shape of goldfish, conrats, and dragons. Ruby's grandfather chuckled. He never thought about it before. He could imagine how much Ruby would have liked a red lantern. But most importantly, said Ruby, staring at her red shoes, the boys got to go to university, but the girls will be married. Don't you want to be married? Asked her grandfather. You know, you are very lucky. A daughter of this house can marry any man. I know, grandfather, said Ruby, but I'd rather go to university. Ruby's grandfather touched her hair. Thank you for talking to me, Ruby. He said, go on with your lessons. Make most of them while you can. So Ruby went on with her lessons. Some boys grew up and went away to university. Some stayed in the house and started families of their own. But when they grew up, all the girls were married and sent away to live in their husbands' homes. Ruby knew. Again, Sydney. Ruby knew it would be an orange and white carp gulping for breath under the thin layer of ice. It soon will be Chinese New Year. Ruby felt sure it'll be the last one at home. On New Year's Day, Ruby put on her red velvet shoes and tied red ribbons in her hair. Then she went to wish everyone a happy New Year. She started with her married cousin, then worked her way to wish everyone a happy New Year. She started with her married cousin, then worked her way up to the way through her parents, aunts, and uncles. Each one gave a red packet full of luck money. Finally, she bowed before her grandfather. Good luck, grandfather, she said. Good luck, Ruby, replied grandfather, and he handed her a fat red packet. Ruby could feel the eyes of her family as she was opened the lucky red envelope. Can you guess what was in it? It wasn't money. It was something much better than that. It was a letter from a university saying that what would be proud to accept Ruby as one of their very first female students. So that's how Ruby got her wish. It's a true story. And how do I know this? Well, Ruby's my grandmother, and every day she still wears a little red. The end. Yeah. Thank you for watching. And I also wanted to say, Okay, I'm almost done. Sydney. Okay, I wanted to say, it says thank you, nurses, well, all of them. Well, wait. Well, bye. I'm on Sydney.